This week on Outdoor Bound TV, we journey far to the South Island of New Zealand with our good friend Gary Barneson. We join Gary at Leithen Valley Lodge, where he has already harvested a fallow deer and a red stag. Now we tag along as he heads high into the mountains in search of the ever-elusive Himalayan tahr. Then later, I take time out from guiding and go hunting with guide Rachel Burke. The majestic red stag, Arapawa ram, and wild goat are all on our list. Join us as we spend a few days hiking through the foothills of the always spectacular South Island of New Zealand. There's a fish. We got him.
Look at that. Nice buck. Did you get that one?
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Colby Chrysler Center. Welcome home to Colby Chrysler. Pro Designs, Sign and Printing Solutions. Canada Outdoor Adventures, professionally outfitted hunting trips from Canada, New Zealand, and beyond. Offering professionally guided, all-inclusive packages, Canada Outdoor Adventures is a U.S.-based company specializing in great hunting adventures in Alberta, British Columbia, New Zealand, and beyond. Whether you're seeking that trophy of a lifetime, planning a hunt for you or your group, or taking your son or daughter on their first adventure, let Canada Outdoor Adventures handle all the details for you. To contact a pro staff member near you, visit our website, Canada Outdoor Adventures, the adventure of a lifetime.
At Colby Chrysler Center, we know you have more important things to do than worry about your car. So let us take care of you.
Whether you need routine maintenance or need a major repair, we are not just fixing your car. We are helping you get back to the things that matter to you.
When it comes time for a new car, we'll be there, giving you the biggest selection with no pressure or red tape.
If you're looking for a used car, know that our stock comes from people we know, people just like you.
At Colby Chrysler, it's all about making you feel at home and ready to hit the road.
Welcome home to Colby Chrysler.
Hi everyone, welcome to Outdoor Bound TV. I'm your host, Kurt Walbeck. On this week's show, we're headed back to the beautiful South Island of New Zealand, where we're going to catch up with Gary Barneson of Olby, Wisconsin. Now, Gary's already on the South Island. He's already harvested a fantastic red stag and a great fallow deer. But now he's headed high into the mountains to go after the Himalayan tahr. Let's meet Gary right now.
Hi, I'm Gary Barneson from Olby, Wisconsin. I grew up in Olby, have lived here the majority of my life, grew up hunting and fishing around the hills and valleys of Trempealeau County, and been hunting and fishing here since I was a child. And Dad was the one that originally got us going and fishing the Mississippi River and deer hunting and chasing those partridge around the hills, and I have just loved it ever since. And it has evolved into leading me into other areas like the New Zealand hunt, and it's just been one of my greatest passions. I work as a regional marketing rep for an insurance company, a Wisconsin-based insurance company, and I cover the northwest corner of the state of Wisconsin, helping our independent agents place business with our company. And I've been doing that for approximately the last 25 years. Several of us got together trying to decide where we would like to go hunting next. And somebody mentioned New Zealand. New Zealand's always been high on my bucket list. I've always wanted to go, and it didn't take long for us to agree that we felt that would be just an exciting hunt, and everybody mutually agreed, let's give it a shot. We met in Eau Claire, drove to Minneapolis, hopped a plane there, and wound up in LA about 4 or 5 hours later. And then caught a New Zealand flight, which was approximately 13 hours, so that was a little bit of a haul. And we wound up in Auckland, New Zealand. Short stop there, and we made just a hop over to Queenstown, New Zealand, and we were met by the Leithen Valley folks at that airport. Sue, the owner of Leithen Valley, picked us up, and we had roughly a 2-hour drive to camp. The drive was beautiful. one thing I noticed right away is they do drive on the wrong side of the road and the steering wheel's on the other side of the car. So I was glad I wasn't driving. So what do you do to get ready for a hunt in New Zealand, especially for tahr? You know they're in the mountains, you know you're going to have to be somewhat in shape. So I hiked the local hills, I hiked down the local county roads, thinking I'm in great shape, this is going to be no problem, until I saw the mountains in New Zealand. Then I realized I wished I would have eaten a few less cheeseburgers and a lot more salads. Beautiful day today here in New Zealand. Watching the dogs work some sheep. Dog trials, beautiful country. Big hills. Should have been working out more. But got all day today to work out, so not to worry yet. The scenery was awesome, and the hunting camp was very nice. We hunted red stag and fallow deer in that particular area. Been seeing a lot of stags, a lot of fallow deer. I can hear the stags roaring. The fallow bucks are grunting at me. So far they've all outsmarted me. Kind of like those turkeys in Wisconsin. Beautiful place, beautiful day, so sooner or later we'll maybe find a dumb one. I was very fortunate to take a nice red stag, also a nice fallow deer. Very nice camp, the food was very good, accommodations were great, everyone had their own room, the view was beautiful, and things were looking very good as we headed down to Tahr camp. This is about a 6 to 7 hour drive on the South Island of New Zealand. It's a beautiful drive. There are lakes involved, all kinds of mountains. The scenery was awesome. Once we arrived at Tahr camp, the question I had for Ollie, my guide, was how do you judge a tahr? What do you look for? And his explanation was the quality of the horns, you know, the thickness, the length of the horns, but more importantly, the quality of the mane and the cape on the animal is the trophy qualities of a tahr. And that's what we were looking for the next day when we hit the mountain. The mane of a Himalayan tahr is what most hunters will look for when they're looking at the trophy qualities. And that's the hair around the neck and the chest area of the tahr, and that's normally what you see blowing in the wind and gives them that big, blocky look. And that's what we were looking for along with the horn quality as we tried to judge the tahr the next morning when we were hunting. The morning of our tahr hunt, we got up early, before dawn, and of course had to get up the mountain. The part that I was worried about was we were on the bottom of the mountain, and Ollie, my guide, told me the tahr are on the top of the mountain, so right away we got a problem. Turned out we were lucky that we could drive approximately halfway up the mountain, which I was very grateful for. And we parked the truck at that point. We went up through Switchback City on the road, or I should say the trail on the way up. Very steep drop-offs, pretty much a hair-raising ride up the mountain that morning. So off to an exciting start for sure. Of course, when we hit the top of the mountain, the weather was terrible. The wind was blowing 40 miles an hour minimum, I would say. Snow was coming sideways, rain, sleet, everything you don't want. That's what we were getting that morning. Made it very difficult to glass for tahr, made it very difficult for us to even spot any tahr, at least for the first hour or two. My guide Ollie and his wife Rachel were really trying hard to find us a tahr, but the weather was just not cooperating. It was miserable out there that morning. Finally, Rachel cut over to the next valley and was able to spot a couple tahr way up in the end of the valley so that we were able to shift our position, take a look at this valley from a new angle, and we did finally find a couple tahr to go after. Once the tahr were spotted, we were able to move into position to get the spotting scope set up. Tahr have incredible eyesight, so we didn't want to blow our cover and get too close to them, but we were able to take a look at them and just determine that the tahr that we could see from this angle were just not of the quality that we were looking for. So we decided to change positions, work up the backside of the mountain to get up on the top and try to get a look into a different valley. As we moved on up the mountain, we came to a different vantage point, and Ollie was able to spot some tar way in the back of a deep valley. And from where we were at, we just couldn't really get a good look at them. So unfortunately, Ollie decided that we had to back out of there and go all the way back up and around them to come down from the other side, which sounds easy, but that country's steep, and this was going to be a long hike. So I was a little concerned about it, but we did take our time, and we were able to work into position so that we could get a better look at these animals, and found that yes, there were certainly some animals in there that we're interested in, and we continued to stalk from there. Once Ollie turned and said, "Barney, there's a nice bull tar in that group and we got to go after him," things got exciting. The problem was we had to hike the hill and we had to get in above them to come down to get anywhere as close to get a decent shot at them. And it sounds easier than it was. Conditions were still tough, the wind was still blowing, the rain had backed off a little bit, but it was slippery. The grass was slippery, the dirt had turned more to mud and was very slippery on those rocks, so it was tough going. We just had to take our time, work into position, and it was exciting. Finally, we've worked our way around the mountain. Now things are going to get tricky. The wind's still blowing, we have to watch our scent. That will help to cover our noise with that wind, but you still have to be concerned about any rock that may tumble down into the valley and scare the tar. It's so steep where we're at that you really can't see the tar below us, but you know they're there. So we're going very slowly, very carefully, and it was very tense because you never knew really how close they were. Finally, we got to a rock outcropping, and we saw approximately 15 to 18 tar ahead of us with a couple of nice bulls way down in the end of the canyon. And that was our chance. So we're on the rock outcropping. Things are getting exciting at this point. We've come a long ways in tough conditions. I just can't get comfortable. It's steep where we're at. I can't get the rifle braced up as well as I would like. I can't get my feet in position that I felt solid. I was starting to panic just a little bit that I wasn't going to get a good solid rest for my rifle. And Ollie continued to glass him to try to make sure he was pointing out the largest bull in the group. And I continued to fidget around trying to get ready to take my shot. And I was starting to get nervous that I would never get a good hold on him. But finally I settled in and things were looking more in my favor. The tar is starting to get nervous. They know something's up. The problem is the cameraman's behind me about 15 to 20 yards. It's too steep to move the cameraman up alongside of us. There's no room for him, and really there's no time. So our problem was, what do? We couldn't call a timeout and talk about it. And Ollie finally turned and said to me, "Barney, it's now or never. You either got to shoot or we're going to blow this whole thing." So that's what happened. The one that I shot had bolted into the creek bottom and he went out of sight. We weren't sure if he was down in the creek or if he was still alive. He wasn't in there long. Pretty soon he came out and I was able to get a second shot at him, and finally he was down and I had my tar. I was thrilled. So finally the tar's down. Now we've got a problem. We have to work our way down to him. He dropped in a deep valley and it was very steep, rocky, slippery conditions to get down to him. So we worked our way slowly down there, and finally I was able to get up and put my hands on that tar.
Yeah, well, looks like Barney managed to shoot himself a pretty good tar. It was probably one of the windiest days we've ever had up here in the Rangitata Gorge. Managed to stay on the mountain, and we nearly got blown off a couple of times. But good stalk. We went right up behind us, all the way around the ridge, come across at them, got under some rocks just above them, ended up probably within about 70 yards of this guy here. And he was a beautiful bull, beautiful mane on him. So Barney chopped him with the first shot, and he was looking pretty sick after that. He ran away into a gully. These animals are pretty tough, so he come back out and he stocked another one in there, and that's where he fell. Awesome day hunting, great person to hunt with, and great adventures.
He was a beautiful animal. Nice horns, beautiful cape, everything that I'd hoped for. It was just a fantastic finish to a great hunt. Looking back on the whole New Zealand experience, from at the time that we started putting this hunt together, it was a wonderful hunt. I wound up with a very nice red stag, a nice fallow deer, and that beautiful tahr. And that was everything that I had hoped it would be. It's a beautiful country, and the folks at Lethen Valley did a tremendous job. Ollie has a lot of patience to put up with me for a whole week. The whole Lethen Valley experience was fun. The food was great. The guides were excellent. Everything turned out excellent. It was really the trip of a lifetime for me.
Hey Gary, congratulations on a great tahr. That was a great hunt. Looked like it was a lot of fun. You know, people ask me a lot of times, Kurt, where is your favorite place to hunt? And I've been very fortunate to hunt in some very neat locations throughout North America and around the world. But there is a special place in my heart for the South Island of New Zealand. It offers many different species of hunting, and it is located in the Southern Hemisphere. Now, what's unique about the Southern Hemisphere is that here in the Midwest, when we're just coming out of winter and going into spring, well, they're just going into the fall. So in the month of April, we typically take off and head to the South Island of New Zealand to enjoy some fall hunting. I got a chance to do that just a little while ago, where I went after the New Zealand wild goat. Let's take a look at that hunt right now. Now, New Zealand wild goat live in the foothill areas of the South Island. They typically are found feeding in large herds along the grassy slopes. Now, trying to stalk a trophy goat with all of the other eyes watching you is definitely a challenge. Now, in this herd of goats, the dominant male was a chocolate brown billy with a wide set of horns. Now, we made several stalks on this billy, but were unable to take a shot because it always seemed like he was surrounded by other goats. Now, all of a sudden, I was spotted, and this band of goats was on the move over the ridge. He's right at the back now. There you go. As soon as he turns, I'll try to get a shot of him. He's a great looking goat. That's really dark colored, beautiful, beautiful colors. He'll make just a great mount. Had a little bit of a tough time to get up around him so we could get him clear. He'd tend to be right in the middle of the group, but finally got him by himself and were able to put a shot on him, and let's go take a look at him. This is the first morning of my hunt, and my guide Rachel and I were able to come up on a group of goats and able to get pretty close to him. We got about 100 yards from them. But this bugger, he's the dominant male, and he was right in the middle of a bunch of probably 15 to 20 other goats. So we had to wait quite a bit to get a shot on him, and we were able to get him by himself, and we put a shot on him, and we're lucky enough to harvest this animal. Now, you just saw me harvest that great New Zealand wild goat. Well, that same afternoon, we were able to get back out on the mountain to go after the Arapawa ram. Looks like there's a couple pretty good rams in there. The one that's way to the left looking at us, is that the one we want? He looks pretty good. Now, Arapawa rams are an exotic, full-curl sheep originally from the Arapawa Island off the coast of New Zealand, and they are one tough animal to hunt. Now, it seemed like every time we got close to these rams, they would somehow manage to give us a slip or sneak over the ridge. Now, that meant we had to try to get around them to set up for a shot. Shoot. There is.
Nice job, Kurt. As you can see, we were able to harvest this great Arapawa ram. He's a full curl ram and he's got a ton of mass. And we had a bit of a run around the mountain here to get at him. We had to head him off a couple times and he gave us a slip and got away, and we've tried to get on him again and he gave us a slip again. But Rachel, our guide, did just a fantastic job, and Rachel, thank you very much for your help getting this ram. This was awesome. The fortunate thing is we've got more to come. In addition to wild goat, which we were able to harvest this morning, and the great Arapawa rams this afternoon, tomorrow we go after red stag. Rachel and I were out on the mountain early the next morning looking for one of those great red stags. Let's pick it up right there.
Folks, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but we've got a red stag kind of right over the hill, and they're in the roar right now, much like we call the bugle at home for elk. The red stag here actually going in the roar, and I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but it kind of makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you come down into some of these ravines in the morning, and these red stag are in here just roaring. It's neat.
Well, we got out of here pretty early this morning and seen a bunch of red stags and fallow feeding, and we've seen a really nice one, two together. Quite heavy, some nice points on top. And so we came right around the valley, came on top of them, and the wind was perfect. There's a lot of animals out this morning, so made it quite tough to do a stalk. And then we ended up right on top of them, just a little bit too close.
Now, my guide Rach and I were able to get on a couple great red stags that morning on the mountain, but unfortunately we got a little bit too close. They winded us and they were gone before we could ever make a shot. Well, the weather was getting pretty warm that day, so we decided to take a break and catch a rugby match in a nearby town close to camp.
To the rugby game we're going. Attaboy, 13.
Where else can you go and hunt on the mountain in the morning, be able to catch a rugby match in the middle of the day, and then back that afternoon, Rach and I changed clothes and head back to the mountain in search of those red stags.
Looks like he's gonna go down. But yep, he's going down. He's going down. That was awesome. We just came up over the hill looking for these stags this evening. It's kind of clouded up a bit, so we thought they might be out a little bit early. Sure enough, there they were. First two that we saw, we came up over the rise, and there they were, standing there just perfect. Got a 250-yard shot. Looks like we put it right on him because he's down. So let's go up and take a look at him.
We came up over the top of the ridge and looked down into the valley, and there he was. And made about a 250-yard shot on them, and they went right down. And I tell you, I am tickled to death, because this is truly what I've been waiting 2 years since we booked the hunt with Lethen Valley Trophy Hunts. We're really looking forward to completing the week here. It's been a whale of a time so far, and the cool thing is this is only day 2. You know, folks, if you'd like to experience New Zealand for yourself, you're in luck. Every year, Outdoor Bound TV, in conjunction with Canada Outdoor Adventures, sponsors a trip to the South Island of New Zealand, where for 8 days and 8 nights you get to experience some of the culture and splendor that New Zealand has to offer, and also have the opportunity to harvest a trophy of a lifetime.
Join Outdoor Bound TV's host Kurt Walbeck April 21st through the 28th as we tour the beautiful South Island of New Zealand. Guests on this trip of a lifetime will enjoy 4 days and 4 nights at the lovely Lethen Valley Lodge with private suites, gourmet food, and spectacular scenery surrounding this private hunting preserve nestled in the foothills of New Zealand's South Island. Guests will also have the opportunity to hunt for the majestic red stag, fallow deer, Arapawa sheep, and New Zealand wild goat. Daily shopping excursions, nature tours, trout fishing, and sightseeing are also available. We will then make our way north past Mount Cook to the beautiful city of Wanaka for 3 days and 3 nights at the luxurious Wanaka Bed and Breakfasts, where guests can take in the sun at the private pool. Enjoy winery and shopping tours along the lakefront district in downtown Wanaka, or hunt for Himalayan tahr and chamois in the surrounding peaks of the Roatata Gorge. Airfare, ground transportation, meals, and all accommodations are included in this trip to the South Island of New Zealand. Log on to the Outdoor Bound TV website for more details on this incredible trip of a lifetime.
If you're interested in enjoying the splendor of the South Island of New Zealand for yourself, you're in luck. Because this April, we still have a few spots left on the Outdoor Bound TV Canada Outdoor Adventure trip to the South Island. Go on to our website and get all of the details right there, and we'll see you on the South Island.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Colby Chrysler Center. Welcome home to Colby Chrysler. Pro Designs, Sign and Printing Solutions. Canada Outdoor Adventures, professionally outfitted hunting trips from Canada, New Zealand, and beyond.
Hey everyone, join us again here next week when we'll bring you more great hunting and fishing action from around Wisconsin, around the nation, and around the world, right here on Outdoor Bound TV.
Let's do, you want to do Lethen Valley?
Let's try that again. You ready?
I wasn't.
A good day for us and not so good day for him.
Let me shoot that again, and I'm just saying, hey everyone. Hey everyone.
Wow, we're going to go back to the lodge and have a beer because there ain't no stags about.
We're out of here.